This absolute mauler is the key to unlocking the 2024 Chicago Bears offense. Hey everyone, I'm Andy here with Chicago Bears React, bringing you all of the Chicago Bears news you need to stay up to date on your favorite team this offseason. If you wouldn't mind, please take a moment, subscribe to this channel. We're going to be covering the entire Bears offseason, which is going to be an exciting offseason for us. We've got the number one pick in the draft. We've got lots of cap to spend, and we're looking at probably a number of significant changes to both the team and the front office this offseason, and we're going to cover all of it here. Now, for today, I want to dive into a draft prospect, which is something that we're going to do from time to time on the channel. And a lot of people online for Bears Twitter or wherever you're getting your Bears interaction are focused on positions such as the quarterback, focused on maybe adding a wide receiver too, whether that be Marvin Harrison Jr. or Roma Dunze, whoever your particular flavor of wide receiver is. But I want to focus on a position that I think is much more dire right now. And that is who is going to be the center for the Chicago Bears in 2024. Because let's be honest, we cannot have another situation where we're going into a season with Lucas Patrick as our center. Lucas Patrick here, as noted, couldn't even finish out the season. He's been injured more often than not, it seems, and during his tenure, he hasn't been particularly impressive as the center for the Chicago Bears. And if you watch the Packers game, it's easy to talk about the big storylines that come out of that game, whether it be Matt Eberflus again not winning a game against the Packers, whether it be Justin Fields again not winning a game against the Packers. And I don't want to dismiss those because those are significant, as has already been discussed on this channel. But one of the things that caught my eye was with even Lucas Patrick out and with Nate Davis injured, the interior of the line buckled under the pressure brought by the interior of the Packers defensive line. And ultimately, whether your quarterback is Justin Fields or is another athletic quarterback such as a Caleb Williams, the fastest way to kind of take out that ability from a mobile quarterback is to pressure them from the interior. Why is that? Because when you pressure a mobile quarterback from the interior, it forces them to start running backward as opposed to being able to get to the outside. And so if you're forced to immediately take steps backward and run backward, you are ultimately going to be in a position where those defensive ends can much more easily get home. And so at the end of the day, we cannot have another center who is unable to stay on the field, who is unable to block, who is unable to manage the all-important checks of the kind of pre-snap movement, and that's something that we've been sorely lacking. And so I'm looking at a number of avenues that I think the Bears could address this. And first and foremost, let's not forget there's free agency coming up, and there are some potential options out there. We could take a look. Here's what Spotrac is showing as 2024 free agents at the center position. This isn't a ranking. This is just what they were paid over the last season, and so there may be some diamonds in the rough available here. I'm looking at the top one there, Jason Kelce, not coming to Chicago. Probably not even a great option, even if he could come to Chicago, just because you're looking at a rental. Not that I would be disappointed by Jason Kelce. Obviously, he is one of the best centers in the league. But ultimately, the Bears are a young team. They're a developing team. They need somebody who can develop with the team. Connor Williams would be an exciting option. And I don't want to dismiss that out of hand. I just look at Connor Williams and I say, why would Miami not do everything they could possibly do to retain a young center who is the second highest graded center according to PFF? I don't think that's a likely option. Looking at the next option here, we're looking at Andre James. He graded out with a 70.8 at center. I don't think that's something that's going to get us excited. We don't need a mediocre center taking over. And so ultimately, that leads us to the NFL draft, and there are a number of options available in the NFL draft to address this glaring hole. And you could look at Cedric Van Pran, who's coming out of Georgia. You could look at someone like Jackson Powers Johnson coming out of Oregon. But the guy that has caught my eye that I really think the Bears have to take a strong look at is a guy named Zach Frazier out of West Virginia. So Zach Frazier is a decent size. He's not massive, but he's not tiny by any stretch of the imagination at 6'3", 310 pounds. He is an absolute load to handle. We're talking about a guy who is a 4-time heavyweight state wrestling champion in high school. This is somebody who has great genetics on both sides of the ball. His dad was a college football player. From his mom's side comes multiple high school state wrestling champions. This is somebody who's built different. Zach Frazier's got that incredible hand strength and the ability to really just latch on to an opposing defensive tackle and really just anchor them there and not allow them to get penetration. That's something the Bears sorely need. They need someone who can really hold down that front wall, that first line of defense against your quarterback, and ultimately push up into the second level, which is something that he's shown an ability to do. But the thing that really caught my eye about Zach Frazier, and something that I think is really key here in considering a center, is the center isn't just somebody who has to block. They're not just somebody who has to be able to keep the defensive tackle in line. The center, in some ways, has to be one of the smartest players on your team. They're responsible for a number of responsibilities pre-snap, identifying the right protections, helping the quarterback. And when you're talking about bringing in a potential rookie quarterback, that's going to be a massive responsibility. And so if you're going to pair a rookie quarterback with a rookie center, you need a center who has what it takes in between the ears to actually succeed as a rookie. And that's something that Zach Frazier can do. He was a 4-year starter at West Virginia. He had to step in for the injured center in his first game as a true freshman, and he stepped in right away. And I believe he gave up just 1 or 2 sacks that entire season. He took over full-time as the center his second year, and he hasn't looked back. He has been a Big 12 All-American. He is someone who has shown the ability to lead at a young age, which is something that he would be required to do if he was going to be the Bears starting center as a rookie. On top of that, this is someone who had a 4.5 GPA in high school, including graduating a semester early. And he was a finalist for the William V. Campbell Trophy this past year, which is kind of better known as the academic Heisman in college football. This is somebody who is not just okay as a thinker. This is somebody who has shown that they're an exceptional thinker, which is something the Bears sorely need. And so I think when you couple that mental aspect with the fact that this is somebody who's just an absolute beast, I think it's a slam dunk. I think Zach Frazier is somebody you're probably going to have to select in the top 50, and so that's where you'd be trying to figure out, how can the Bears finagle into that spot. But I think in a scenario where you trade Justin Fields for a second-round pick, or maybe it's part of moving back, no matter what, the Bears are making a trade, and they're probably getting a second-round pick out of it, would be my assertion. Either they're trading back from the number 1 pick, unlikely, but either they're doing that and collecting more draft capital, or you're trading Justin Fields and you're getting at least a second-round pick out of that. And I think that'd be a great opportunity to take Zach Frazier. So let me know in the comments who you think the Bears should bring in at center, whether you think there's a free agent out there that you particularly want, or if there is another potential rookie that you've got your eye on.